Let's get to the latest on the federal workforce changes and President Trump's restructuring plans. Last week, we told you about the thousands of U.S. Department of Agriculture employees, many based right here in the DMV, who are relocated or being relocated to hubs across the country.
This comes just days after Politico published a report detailing unsafe conditions at the agency's headquarters. Agency leaders warned that this massive relocation could delay critical research and deliver a blow to the economy. Virginia Congressman Suhas Subramanyam joins us now to share what he's doing to support federal workers in our region. Congressman, thank you very much for doing this for us. We reached out to the American Federation of Government Employees about their reaction to this, and we want to play a little bit of that, of what they had to say. Take a listen.
Having to relocate from here, say like if you're in the District of Columbia all the way out to Kansas City somewhere, is strenuous.
This is devastating for our community. This is devastating for our economy.
All right, Congressman, you heard a little bit of that right there. How much warning did your office get about the USDA restructuring plan? Did you get any information about this at all? And were you consulted about this move?
Yeah, we got a zero heads up or information, but we knew this was probably going to be a part of the plans for this administration because Project 2025, a lot of their planning documents as well have hinted at trying to move not just the USDA, but most agencies out of the DMV. And that's obviously really harmful to our region and to our workforce here, which is a lot of federal workers and civil servants who service these agencies, but also it's really bad for the American people. The USDA actually moved a couple offices to Kansas City during Trump's first term, and it was a huge disaster, not just for the people who work here at those offices, but for the USDA itself. Those offices were basically not functional because they lost 80% of their workforce, and they were having a lot of trouble hiring them back. That move was reversed, and now you're going to do that across the entire agency. It's going to be a huge disaster, not just for our region, but for the American people, because of all the people displaced, all the people they'll lose, as well as the operations. You know, it makes sense to be in DC. And a lot of what the USDA does isn't just serving farmers, although it's a big part of it. It's also nutrition and SNAP benefits. It's also food safety and a lot of other things. So it's going to be really difficult.
You really positioned yourself as the watchdog against the unjustified layoffs, the abrupt layoffs, the budget cuts, and that sort of thing. You also mentioned recently, while you were speaking on the House floor, that you have been overwhelmed and getting calls daily from your constituents. What are some of the stories? What are you hearing from the community across the DMV?
Well, what we're seeing is the administration is trying to find ways to fire people or make federal employees' jobs harder and frankly less desirable so that they can push them out. I've heard from friends who said that DOJ people are going up and down the office and checking in on them. They're setting up meetings while they know that that person already has a meeting, and then writing them up for not joining the last minute meeting that they set. Just trying to find ways to fire people, basically. I heard one story about someone who said, they left their badge in their office and were walking to the water cooler, and then they were written up for not having their badge. So finding excuses to fire people. This is another move. Moving an agency out of our region, they're daring people in this region to follow the agency and displace their families. And by doing that, they can justify firing more people and then, hiring Trump loyalists, essentially, because the new sort of interview process includes a lot of questions about, will you be loyal to the president? What would you do to fulfill his agenda? And so that's sort of the plan, it seems.
All right. So how are you guys supporting these all these workers who are under threat of being moved to other areas?
Yeah, well, we've got legislative proposals. One with doing one with Senator Van Hollen to basically say, if you're going to move an agency out of this region, you have to justify the cost. Because another thing I haven't talked about yet is the fact that this is really, really terrible for efficiency, which is supposedly the point. And it's also really bad for taxpayers. It costs a lot of money to move these agencies out. And so I'm working with the rest of the Virginia delegation, the Maryland delegation, and DC delegation to try to find ways to stop these moves. And, we're going to call for hearings. I'm on the oversight committee. But most importantly, I think people speaking up, us making a lot of noise about this, will be the one way that we can actually prevent these moves. Because it is a bad idea, but we just need to talk about all the impacts, not just to our region, but to the American people, and it will become unpopular. Maybe they'll reverse it.
All right, Congressman Suhas Subramanyam, thank you for your time speaking to just these unsettling times and the uncertain road ahead. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.